very quick because JT did the rant. Merepeka covered all the information I wanted to talk about in terms of government, and everybody else has covered a lot of the stuff that I thought I'd like to say. So mine's going to be more of a pictorial version of why and how I got to be here and what it is we do. And I'd just like to take time just to acknowledge my daughter who's sitting up there, who is the one who curated the bags that are going out and runs Innonative. And it's really, really critical, and I support everything my old mate over here talked about in terms of generational development. And that's really where I've got to. So I've got no idea what's up here. Kay Marie asked me maybe a couple of days ago to speak. I haven't been still for days. I got up at 5 o'clock this morning with my moko in one arm, my one and only, gave him a bottle, gave him a feed, and put this together. So let's see what we've got. She also asked me to talk about Indigenous economics. We've already heard about that, and this has got nothing to do with it. It's about Innonative Economies, so let's hope we've got it. I was born in 1963. I'm 57 if you can't do the maths. And this, I put it up on Google this morning, and those were the most important things in our country or in the world at that time. Those three top ones are all about protest, and we all know those images. The second to last one down here is Kennedy being killed, and the last one were the Beatles arriving in America. That was 1963, and that was when I was born. And who am I? He uri o Ngāti Hine me Ngāti Rangi. On one side, we are very progressive, highly intellectual, very articulate. On the other side, don't cross me or you'll know about it. You work out which is which. And I say that because I was raised in Ngāwha, under the auspice and under all my nannies. They were tough, unrelenting, hard workers. And you listened and you did what you were told, and that is why I am here today. And I think there's an element of that stuff missing. We are becoming a little bit passive in the way that we do things. I am relentless with my own children, and I have an intent to have a generational whānau plan so that they can live better than I have. But it takes a lot of hard work and a lot of grit. And I don't know if we're up to it up here in the north. We always got things, and we just heard from our old mate Carol about all the things that are going to impact us. So we need to start talking about grit and resilience more. And I know there's a lot of other stuff going on in our world, but we need to lift ourselves again and again and again. No one else is going to do it. So I just want to talk about that to a large degree. This is what was happening in New Zealand when I was born. The Queen arrived. Morrison Quartet. And the statistics, cancer and tuberculosis, excluding Māori. But down here, the infant death, including Māori, and we're the higher bar. So things aren't changing much in this country. Our population was just under 3 million. Everybody remembers this image? We know this. I marched in one of the very first marches to Waitangi. I was 14 years old. I marched behind Wikitoria Taylor at the time, and there was only about 15, 16 of us. When we went on to Waitangi, we got spat at, yelled at by our own. So things have changed a little bit. We all know that image. And we're always talking about Māori control. By 26, I had 2 degrees. I had returned home wanting to help my people, had spent time overseas working, and was fully engaged in iwi politics. I'm one of the first trustees of Te Runanga a Iwi o Ngāpuhi. I was 26 years old. By 27, I was the chair of Ngāti Hine Runanga. By 30, I was having my first child. And why I say that is I've been through the iwi and hapu politics and development. That was 30 years ago, and they still haven't settled. And about 20 years ago, I decided we needed to do it differently. So what we went out and did was create a different model for whānau development. I was in that melee somewhere. We're now honouring the treaty. The treaty is no longer a fraud. And of course, it continues on with the theft of the seabed and foreshore, and right up to last year with ihi mātau. And why I wanted to set that is because those are the moments in my life that have created the person I am and the type of things that I get into. I am tired at 57 of apologising. And I am tired of explaining why I am doing what I do to help my kids, my nieces, my nephews, my uncles, my grandparents. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of apologising. I think we should stop being using the master's tools, that's what, the tool of the masters to justify everything. I understand that's where we are. We have to fight in that space. And Merepeka and JT do that extremely well, and they're starting to make some huge moves. But here at home, we've got to think about what we do here and how we do it differently. We can't continue to protest and hope someone's going to listen. We've got to change internally and change the way we do things ourselves. Ngāpuhi never ceded sovereignty. I love saying it. Love saying it. Makes no difference when I've got to pay the mortgage, but I love saying it. And the struggle goes on. These next 3 slides are the 3 slides that I use to sort of strengthen myself when I know the crap is coming. And Merepeka and JT and many of you have had to go through these battles. I remind myself that regardless if it's Labour or National or any other flash version, they're all the same. I exclude the Māori Party from that. They're all the same bird. I'm not a capitalist, I'm not a socialist, I'm Indigenous. I remind myself every day that I am. And a nation is not conquered until the hearts of the women are on the ground. Then it is finished, no matter how brave its warriors or how strong their weapons. So again, I'm thrilled to see all the women here. When the mothers on their knees and we're over, then it's done. But that's not today. And it's not going to be for a long while, I suspect. So why I was actually asked to come along was to talk about our little stuff that we do over the road. So He Puna Trust, I set that up when I left the chairmanship of Ngāti Hine, when my beautiful uncles decided they didn't need me any longer, and I wanted to form something different. And so this isn't it. He Puna Trust owns 5 early childhood centres. Up until a year and a half ago, we owned 2 charter schools, and we do a host of other things, and we also own the Innonative Economy and a host of products and services and businesses coming out of that, and I'll hopefully get some time to talk about that. I do just want to mention the charter schools. And I'd just like to say that I have hosted over the road members of the ACT Party. Weird creatures they are. But they backed us to the hilt. And when we lost our partnership school to the socialist government, I couldn't understand why I was so upset. And it wasn't just because they took the funding and they've parked it up in mainstream, and it wasn't because, I'll be polite, the government of the day decided that they knew how to raise my children. It was because as a charter school, I felt for the first time the freedoms of making decisions for my children and my mates' children. and that we could decide what education looked like for them without having to go and ask the master. They took away my freedom. And it's taken a year and a half to get over that. But yeah, that's why the wings of the two bird are so important to remember. The ACT Party, and they are odd, gave me more support than I've ever felt in the Labour government. And my general manager is Kay Taylor, the, what do you call it? Campaign manager for Calvin, so she would tell me off if she saw me. But we just have to be mindful of where we are. And I know all the other speakers have said that. Over next door, we own almost, that's why I had to force Kay to let me go now, because I'm off to a hui with some experts on organics. That started yesterday. That was at my great-grandfather's whenua. I had 4 generations of our family there, kicking that off with a karakia from my dementia uncle, who gave the most beautiful kōrero. My niece who's involved with tourism, engine room, it just goes on and on and on. And where did that come from? It came from that belief that we just have to get up and do it regardless. Don't listen to the trends too much unless you're a politician or a policy advisor. Do what you have to do to make it happen for the whānau, because you can. Yeah. The struggle goes on, and it's all about whānau. Kia ora.